Okay, welcome to lesson 4, which is going to be basic dimensioning. Now I do say basic because this is just a normal block that's got no circles or center lines or anything in it, so it's very basic. And I'm going to go through these basics to start with, and we'll work our way up to more difficult ones in later tutorials. Alright, so we need to have a look at a few things. Number one, these subtotals are going to get in the way, so you can actually grab them, just move them out of the way. Those two should be in line with each other, but I just want to move this out of the way so we can dimension things like that. Okay, alright, a couple of rules. Number one, you need an overall length, an overall width, and an overall height. So in this case here with the lock plate, if you have a look at this, you must have 56 high, you must have 80 wide or long, even though it doesn't have it on this drawing. You don't normally dimension an isometric, and you should have 52 millimeters across. That is not negotiable. The other thing is, these should not all add up to the overall length. So if the overall length is 80 millimeters, we've got 40 there and 30 here. It shouldn't be dimension 10 there, because they expect you to go, if that's 80, this is 40, you can figure out that by saying 30 and 40 is 70, take it off 80. They call it over-dimensioning, and it's kind of like the same as when we stick those constraint dimensions on when you're sketching. Alright, so let's have a look at how we do this. It's very easy. I've come up to here, we're under annotate, I'm going to click on dimension, and you can dimension lines just by grabbing them or between. Now it's a little bit hard, this one here, because I can't grab a line and take that down. But if you remember, I said click, click, and you can drag it down. I'll just zoom in a little bit so you can see that. So I've clicked on that edge, and it's saying the distance between those two is that distance there. It automatically sets it up for you. It should be 8 millimeters away. Just click on that. Okay, it should be 8 millimeters away there. It should be 2 millimeter extension, and there should be a 2 millimeter gap in between there and there. Alright, so I've got our first one there. Causes a few issues, because if I want to dimension this now, if I grab a hold of that, I can't actually do that, because these dimension lines are crossing over each other. Alright, so you need to really plan what you're doing ahead. So I'm just going to hit escape, click on that, delete. So let's think about this properly. I could dimension up the top there, but you can't dimension hidden detail. So I think the best thing to do here would be to dimension that one there, pull it down until it's dotted, go OK. Now I can go for the dimension of the overall length. I'm going to change my mind here. I'm going to put it up the top. So I can't grab that one, but what I can do is to say from there, just zoom in to there is 80 millimeters. There it is, automatically sets it up on that dotted line. Okay. Alright, overall height. I think I'm going to put the overall height out here. So I'll go from there to there, drop him out there. Okay. A couple of things to remember about dimensioning. See this one here, the 56 millimeters is on the left hand side. Alright, and it always needs to be on the left hand side. The 60 millimeters here is always on top, it is never below that dimension line. We've got an arrowhead there, those are normally 3 millimeters long depending on the size of the sheet, and as I said, you have a gap up here, an extension down here. Alright, so let's have a look at a few other things. Let's put some dimensions up here. I've got an overall height, I've got an overall length, I need an overall width. So I'm going to put an overall width on this one, click him out, there he is there. Okay. Put a few more dimensions in there. I think we need to do one on this one. Click him out. There he is. Okay. this one here, there he is. Whoops, missed that one. I'm just going to cancel that. Hit escape. I went out too far with this one. It won't come out the 8mm. Let's try it again. Click. There's the dotted line. Click OK. Alright, so incorrect things would be to dimension this one here. Because if you come out and drag that one in there, those three add up to 52. You've already got it there. So you're going to lose marks for putting something in like that. Ask yourself, if can I draw all these lines with the dimensions I've got? The answer is not. You need to add some more. Here's an issue. You don't have a dimension with your dimension lines touching any part of the drawing unless absolutely necessary. So to put that 30mm dimension in there is a little bit of an issue. I can't dimension from there to there. I can't dimension from there to there because I don't want the arrows in there. It's not correct to do this. That's not correct. That's also not correct. There's better ways around it. You don't put your dimension lines on a drawing at all. Your best option here, even though it's not the right thing to do generally, is to dimension from that line to your hidden detail line and take it out like that. Okay, that would be the most correct way to do it. Alright, a few more dimension lines. I'm going to put that one out there. Okay, we're right to go. I've got that. I don't have this one dimensioned. I think we should. I can't dimension on that one because it's a hidden detail line. Whereas I've got an option here to make this a little bit down further. So if I dimension that from there to there, like that, go okay, there's a bit of an issue for that because I've got 20mm there, 60mm there, 80mm there. I don't need both of those. I'm going to get rid of this one. Hit escape, click on it, delete. Alright, so I've got 80mm. I can figure out that. I can figure out this dimension here from that. So all of my lengths there are right. Widths, I've got those two widths there, and that one's correct. I've got this width, I've got the height. I need this height here. So I just dimension that. I'll put a dimension right there, out there like that. Okay. Alright. A couple of things that could go wrong. We're almost ready to put our subtitles back. Sub mean below. So it's a title below your drawing. Let's have a few talks about what you can and can't do. If you have a look, we've got a space there and a space there. This is what you can't do. I'll hit escape, delete that, delete. I'm going to put dimension up there. I'm going to go, I want a dimension from there. Oh, let me escape. So I want to dimension that line, which is what most people do. Drag him out. You notice it doesn't go dotted until about there. And if you have a look, I'm just going to click it in there. Okay. If you have a look, I don't have a gap there anymore. When I hover over it, you can see up here, it's actually got a gap. That's because I said this line, so it puts a gap from there to there. This is what I was talking about dimensioning before. If I want to dimension this correctly, I need to go that line and this line, and it puts a gap there and gives you your 8mm. Okay, so that's looking pretty good. I think we need to put these dimensions back. Hit escape, and I'm going to put this back here. That looks right about there. This one should be in line with that. Let's cancel that. Just zoom in a little bit and see if we can get in pretty much in line. There we go. And this one here can go a little bit higher. Alright, the gaps look pretty even. Our dimensioning is pretty right. I've got the isometric view over here. It's looking good, well centered. Overall, it's looking like a pretty good drawing. I could actually scale that up a little bit, but at the end of the day, that's how you do it. Now, that's a basic method of dimensioning. There is an extensive dimensioning video coming up soon on how to dimension circles, etc. But overall, pretty basic sort of dimensioning. They're only straight lines, there's nothing too difficult there. It's nicely spaced out. I don't have dimensions over the drawings, etc. So we should be right to go. Alright, have fun with that.